sound, guys. It's terrible. Alright, so these are all of the little pieces that I have engraved for the past 2 days. So I'm going to cut them out, get them out of the backing, and then we're going to glitter them. I will eventually have to go into my silhouette so I can see what order of colors I want them. So they don't look like much, but these engravings legitimately took a day and a half. Yeah, about a day and a half. I just cut them down because it's easier to pull them out, because you gotta kind of be a little careful. When I engrave, I usually just take the protective coating off the front. This one I forgot to take it off before I taped, so I just cut her out. But I take it off the front and leave it on the back. This way, if it gets marred up while it's on the mat, it's still got the protective covering on it. And this is plastic, so it is kind of sharp, so you got to be careful. I have cut myself with it, just because when I cut it apart like this, I tend to do rough cuts, because I'm just throwing the excess away anyway. And then I take a lint roller and just kind of clean off any little chunks from the engraving that you have. Kind of go both ways, so this way it gets in the little crevices. So when I do names like this, I usually keep the line spacing really close, so this way it just shows more detail. I am doing, God, I don't even know how to explain it. So we got married 3 years ago, and we had everybody sign around like a mat. We had them sign in between it, or on it. This way we could put it around our picture that we were putting up. Well, it has sat in my basement for 3 years, and it got a little bit messed up. Like, it's got a little bit of water damage on it. So I finally bought my shadow box for it. So I figured, since that was messed up, I took and I'm just trying to get some tape off this one. I took and my brain has left me. I took pictures of everybody's signatures, and I'm going to, so like this was one of my nephews, and I just took pictures of it, made it into an SVG, and engraved around it, and I cut it out on this Duralar, and I'm going to glitter the back of it and put it around the picture, and I'm actually going to engrave an 11 by 14 picture of my wedding party to put into the shadow box, and then I'm going to put like my garter, my husband's boutonniere, all that kind of stuff, just to do something with it. And I didn't want to lose everybody's names. This one I might have to dig the tape out of here. If you don't tape close enough around the edges, you're gonna engrave into the tape, and it doesn't hurt it, it still engraves. It just is a pain in the dick to get out. So eventually I'll have to dig all that out. Well, thank you. We'll see how it turns out. I did an 11 by 14 picture a couple months ago. My husband come out of his truck, and he's dispatching for the job that he's with, and I made him a shadow box with the truck that he drove. He did oversized stuff, and it came out really well. It took forever to engrave, I think, because I only have the Cricut. I don't have a Glowforge or anything. It took, I think, 5 or 6 days total. One of the layers took, I think I had started it on like a Wednesday, and it finally finished Saturday or Sunday morning, just because, I mean, Cricut can only do so much, but it turned out fantastic. It's actually on my profile. I think it's further down someplace, but so I cut these out of Duralar. It's 0.20, I think, something like that. And Cricut can actually cut it with its knife blade, but it doesn't always cut through all the way, so you kind of just got to be careful because it's really thin plastic. And some of these have kind of sharp curves in them, so I'm hoping to be able to pull it all out and not rip anything. Like, if the outside of it rips, I don't care. But again, it is kind of sharp, so just, if you ever do this, just be careful. It's like cutting into those things you buy in the store where you cut it with scissors and then have to cut it 6 ways from freaking heaven in order to get in it. And you just got to kind of keep working it. Eventually it'll pop out, but I just kind of put my nail along where the cut line is, so this way it kind of helps it. And I learned the hard way to pop it out from the front and pull the part that you don't want up and push the part that you do want down. Because this way, if you do get to where it rips the plastic, it tends to rip on the part that you don't want. not the part that you want, because that will make you want to cry, something that you've engraved for umpteen hours, and all of a sudden it just rips in half. Because the knife blade really can't do sharp turns, because it basically is an X-Acto knife for your Cricut, some of the little corners are kind of rough. They're kind of hard to get out. See how that one ripped? But it ripped on the part that I don't want, so that's fine. You really just gotta wiggle it, because for the most part it's cut through. I've made the mistake of, when I've done multiple things on these sheets before, trying to do them all, pull them all from the sheet, which I have small hands, so the further down the page you get, the harder it is to get it out. I have the Cricut Maker. So the Maker has an engraving option, and actually, I think it's in here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's just this tip. You get it for the housing, and it's just this tip that goes in there. I follow Kay Hall on Facebook, her group engraving Cricut. What the heck is it? Clever Someday. She's also got a YouTube. She does a lot of engraving. She's got some really good ideas on, like, making a jig so things don't move if you have to do more than one layer. But yeah, as far as I know, I think there's a way that you can do it with the older ones. But they suggest that if you're going to do it, it's this tip that you can get off Amazon. But they suggest if you're going to do it when you're out of warranty. Just because, you know, with Cricut, everything is, if you mess up their machine and it's something you did, then it's on you. But there's been a lot of people that have had some pretty good experiences with it, from what I can tell. I've done quite a bit of engraving. I kind of am a little bit addicted to it. I try to do it when I don't have anything else that needs done, just because it does hog my machine and I only have one. So it hogs it. You can't do anything else with it while it's engraving, and sometimes the engraving can take hours. I think it's the chroma tip for the Explorers. If you look up, I think it's Cricut Engraving with Clever Someday on Facebook, or just like go to YouTube and Google Clever Someday, or search up Clever Someday. She's a phenomenal resource. She's got an ebook, because like the photo that I'm doing is, I think I made this one 4 layers. But she's got an ebook on what to do for the the line spacing and like the degrees and all that kind of stuff, that does involve having the Silhouette Studio Business Edition. This way you can make it in Silhouette Studio, which is what I did with these. I just made them in Silhouette Studio, exported them in as an SVG, and I have ADHD also. I am sorry that sometimes I cannot talk and do things at the same time. It's my downfall. But yeah, the Silhouette Studio Business Edition, you can make your stuff and then export it as an SVG so you can use it in Cricut if you don't have the Silhouette machine. I bought it when it was on sale, and it honestly was like the best 60 bucks of my life. There's so many more things that you can do design-wise in there, even just for simple decals. But it lets you export it so you can use it with your machine and you don't have to get a new machine, which for me was cheaper than buying a whole new machine.